This call is being recorded.
Welcome to the artwork of CP, everyone. And I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday, no matter where you're listening to this on a Sunday or throughout the week, because podcasts are evergreen. So you guys can listen to this throughout the week. But I learned something new about CP. I was from the age of 11 on, I was always told that, well, first of all, my mother sat me down at the end of a driveway at Country Day, where I still work. And yes, that driveway still exists. And she goes, "You have CP." And then she goes, "You have a nice day," after she told me the news that I actually have a disability, which I am a smart kid. I can figure out things and then not tell people what is actually going on. I mean, I read between the lines of text all the time, and I read between the lines of emails all the time, and I pretty much have a sense of what's going on. So, okay, my mom tells me I have CP. Um, and then my day goes on, and when I was 11 years old, when I first found out I had CP, which um, is quite young in my book to be telling your child that they have CP. And so I go fast forward, I go into a public high school and then Google what is CP, and turns out yeah. Oh jeez. See, my headphone keeps falling out of you guys. There we go. I caught my headphone. See, this is what you get when I'm in a speech of CP. Um, so I go into high school still not knowing what CP was or is, and then I Google what is CP, and CP stands for cerebral palsy, and the awareness color is green and all that good stuff. Then on last Wednesday, I don't know what possessed me. I guess I guess we I guess I was being introduced to a PT student, which happens to come in. They happen to come into the Bridging Bionics Foundation program all the time. We get people checking out all technologies all the time. So when the PT that I was working with said, "Oh, by the way, Lynn, this is a PT student," I I said, "Well, great, nice to meet you, but I do have a question for you." And I looked at both my PT and the PT student, and I said, "Well, I have a curiosity question for you. Would you consider CP more of a bone and joint condition, or would you consider CP neurological? Because 24 hours before that, I had two huge muscle spasms, and then I thought, well, if it was more bone and joint, that muscle spasms wouldn't be happening. And so they both look at me and they say, "Win, you have a neurological condition." And yes, it's called CP, and your neurological condition happens to affect bones and joints. And I'm like, ew, that makes sense. That makes sense why I had two muscle spasms the night before. And then I called a friend, and that friend said to me, "When?" I knew that the whole time, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, mom, for not telling me the whole facts." When you gave me the news that not only did I have a disability that would change my whole entire outlook on the rest of my life, but it's my mom did not give me the facts of what CP actually looks like. And over the years, I've myself about no, uh, about neurological conditions, and what really made me think about it is I am actually back to journalism school, and we're now in the fundamentals class I'm in right now. We're now talking about um, growth mindset and brain plasticity. And I said, I told my teacher, I said I need to look more do more research on brain plasticity because I'm a walking talking vehicle because of brain plasticity. And so in the extent of my research, I learned that CP is a neurological condition leading to bone and joint issues. And I'm like, okay, there we go. So today, Danielle and I are going to be talking about content creation with CP and how we manage to do that. I know on Ask Lynn in the past, we talked about um, content creation when you don't have family support and how tough that was. But today, on the artwork of CP, we're going to talk about making content with having a physical disability. Now, how I do it is I just embrace CP. It's like I'm a mole in a china shop, and people know that, and you people who are listening to this who know me personally will say, oh boy, we're just in a huge thing here. With a boy in the China shop, give me a mission and give give me a mission, and then I I don't stop until I say it through. And part of my learning style, something they call confluence, meaning I don't follow the rules. I just set my own path and blaze. But part of my learning style too is that I'm a learner, dynamic learner, saying, oh, I'm also dramatic too. Dynamic learner, meaning that I fit in the two categories of the LCI. LCI stands for Learning Connections Inventory. And so, meaning that I fit into two categories of the LCI. One being sequential, which is scheduling. I like to know what I'm doing when. And sequential, and the other one is confluence, which confluence I figured out when I was 6 years old. I mean, I was beating the drum when I was 6 years old. I mean, the story goes, I would turn around to full-blown adults and say, "How are you?" and say, "Good morning," and do all this not being the typical 6-year-old, being the unknown typical 6-year-old. But I didn't know the word sequential until I actually did the Learning Connections Inventory, or LCI. And so if you ever want to take a LCI, you guys should, and also take the 5 love languages quiz, and then you really figure out your learning styles, both based on the 5 love languages quiz and the LCI. So me, I've been learning a lot this week about my how I react to people, what people need to know about me. And so I feel like now that I know what my LCI says, I feel like it's going to be better content creation on the artwork of jobs, on the artwork of CP, on Ask Win, because I feel like no wonder why I don't like people asking me clothes yes or no. No wonder why. And no wonder why I'm a bull in a china shop. And and no wonder why when you give me a mission, I'm like a dog with a bone. I don't stop that mission until it is stopped for me. And the only reason my fashion journalism degree was stopped. I was on a mission to get my journalism degree. I was supposed to be graduating in May, thank you very much, but now I'm graduating in May of 2024, supposedly, hopefully, and that's all depending on how many credits transferred to Ashford University. But now that I know my learning styles and my love language styles, I feel like it's going to be creating better content on my end. And so how I create content is I say, yes, this is me, now deal with me. And people have literally stood in my kitchen and listened to me record podcast interviews. And I don't care if I get mocked at for having cerebral palsy. I have cerebral palsy. It's one of my traits that you guys have to put up with. And so that's how I do that's how I do it. I embrace my flaws and do content creation that way. Danielle, I know you have a different opinion on that. How do you do content creation with CP?
It's really hard to content creation is with CP because we take longer than able-bodied and some people don't get us.
Danielle, you're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry because of that statement. No, and I agree with CP. I agree with CP, and I agree with Danielle because people don't get what well some people do. Some people do. I mean, others others do not. Others call me the expert on CP, yet you could pick up a laptop or pick up your phone nowadays and Google what is um, before you even meet me after you have a job interview with me to be my aide. And two CPAs are not, I said CPAs, yes, two CPAs are not alike, you guys. And functioning with my own CP, the next CPA you can see walking through the door at Starbucks could be nonverbal and on our iPad. and could be nonverbal and need assistance on a daily basis with lung issues. And so two CPOs are not alike. And I don't know what Danielle and I are going to do about creating content, you guys, that you guys would understand. And because it takes us a little bit longer than able bodied to create content, just give us grace and space and we'll create amazing content. But at the same time, you guys have to understand that you guys have to spread the content where it should be spread. We can't necessarily do the marketing, necessarily do all we can if we're just trying to sit up physically and create the content. And when I say sit up physically, I mean sit up physically and create the content. And people know that's why I get so tired so easily, because it's not like I don't want to create content. I am trying to keep my body from spasming half the time. When I create content, I'm trying to keep my body from spasming half the time. And so you guys have got to help us share this content. And people that know me personally know how difficult it is being an orphan with CP. Now, granted, I have only been an orphan since May, and and it's still a challenge on a daily basis, not only to create content for you guys, but to keep my life going on a daily basis. I mean, I never know what's coming next. So when I am, and what leads to muscle spasms is me being tired and me being stressed out. And so, and then over over time this, I I get spasms, and I literally have to sometimes look at people and say, "Help me walk this spasm out." I mean, the last person I traveled with, um, we were sitting in DIA airport up until last Tuesday. I hadn't had a muscle spasm since October, and we the person I was traveling with, and we were sitting in the IA waiting for a flight. And then I looked at her, and all I said was spasm, and she knew what was going on. All now granted, this person knows me well enough to know to know that when I say spasm, when I say I'm perfectly fine, she left me alone. And when I said spasm, she knew what to do. And so I have you guys need to be sharing this content. And I know some of you have unsubscribed from this content because CP is a niche beyond niche, but I don't want to be sitting here creating content, and I don't want, and notice Danielle, we don't want you guys to see us have muscle spasms because we're looking to the lawn on creating the content, that as an end result we have huge muscle spasms. And I don't want you guys to have to ask me 1,000 times why your content is coming out so slow. I mean, I have to now hire people to help me edit the podcast because I can't edit it due to my neurological disability, due to my hand strength to open up Audacity and Audacity's editing program, open up Audacity and edit a podcast. So you just have to be patient with those who have physical disabilities and mental disabilities and psychological disabilities and just be patient. Be patient. Be patient. And I don't know how what this is going to look like by June. I don't know if this will be my same soapbox by June, but I certainly don't want to have a muscle spasm in the midst of creating content. And I don't know about you, Danielle, but you certainly don't want to show your fan base. You want to show your fan base the pretty side of CP. You don't want to show them the crappy book writing of CP, and I call it crappy because Danielle and I need help editing our book. And so, um, yeah, she agrees with me. Thank you very much. So just be patient. Be patient. Don't you guys just have a little bit of patience? Don't. And then the other laughing because I gave up the word. I gave up the word patience in June. Last June I gave up the word patience, and now it's slowly, with support, my patience is slowly coming back. And yeah, last June I gave up the word patience. I have told people that know me personally. I'm not the biggest patient listening person on the planet, and my patience is slowly coming back. But at the same time, you guys have got to understand that we are trying to create content. We are trying to create the best content we can so we can leave a legacy for you guys. Yikes, that's a little scary when I put it that way. And so that we can make our own incomes off the content we create. And so even though this podcast isn't monetized, this the art work of Garbs won't be. Ask When will be because I'm selling my books on Ask When. I'm also doing a Patreon for the artwork of Jobs. Patreon.com, the artwork of Jobs. If you want to support my YouTube podcast / my YouTube channel. And then I also do a Patreon for Ask When, patreon.com Ask When. And so you guys need to support content creators with a disability because that's how we're going to spread awareness. We're not neuroscientists. Danielle and I are not neuroscientists. We're not trying to do research on cerebral palsy, um, much less spread awareness. I am spreading awareness worldwide. You guys know that. I am now again, don't ask why, I'm now again spreading awareness into the school system and on the West Coast and the East Coast, primarily the West Coast. And so I just feel that you guys, you as teachers, need to teach your classrooms about cerebral palsy because I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm done with education as of education being teacher, education not as education being student as of May 20th, education being student and May 24th, 2024. And so I'm done with educating kids about cerebral palsy. Now I turn the chapter of cerebral palsy over to you guys. And I know that you guys are going to bark and squawk at me for not having this podcast edited, but the artwork of jobs will be edited, and Ask When is edited and will continue to be edited. And so I want to make my own income off of content creation, and that's final. And I don't care how long it takes me to get a piece of content out. I am trying to manage my own life and keep me sane and keep me standing. And even though I appreciate the support, more support is needed for those content creators, including Danielle, with disabilities.
See, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, it's not fair. It's not fair, you guys. It's not fair. We sit here and you guys complain about the podcast being edited. Well, a podcast costs money to edit because Danielle and I can't edit the podcast on our own due to a neurological disability called CP, and I give up. And it's not fair, you guys, asking me every 2 seconds, where's the podcast? And I am trying. I am trying. And big time, I'm trying. And so I want you guys to know that I have had aid turnover. I have had, my life has been a roller coaster since May 19th. I finally getting settled again, and I'm finally getting back into a degree program that I actually enjoy. And so I'm finally getting settled after I had aid turnover left, right, and center. And and I will make it happen so that you guys don't have to worry about content on a daily. You guys don't have to worry about where's when and where's the content creation. But at the same time, you guys got to respect the disabled with content. And we want to do the best job we can. So how we're going to do that is take our time. And I'll leave the soapbox right there on a beautiful Sunday morning, and you can listen to this podcast with your family and start educating people about in common day occurrences. And when people see me walk out with AIDS and the AIDS are helping me into vehicles, I've had strangers come up to me and say, "Can I wait with you as the aide pulls up the vehicle?" And 9 times out of 10, I say, "I got it," but at least people are conscious of it. And nowadays, I say yes. Nowadays, I would say, that's great if you can help where you can. Um, then we'll teaching kids and through the adults' actions on how to be respectful. And so you've got to understand that the last time I took a vacation, I took a physical vacation, was in October. And that's because I was blessed with the opportunity to take one. And so I took it. And I got a call when I was on vacation, having to deal with me, having to deal with the next chapter of my life. Do you think I wanted to sit and then I had people in background who didn't know what was going on, and do you think I wanted to pick up the phone and deal with that chaos? No. So when I go on vacation, let me go on vacation. And I just told someone last night who was not present when I got that phone call, what that phone call was all about. And she's like, I didn't know that was going on. And I'm like, no, I didn't tell you um, because you had, we were going through so much at that time. Both my stepmom, myself, the aide who was transitioning out of my life, were going through so much at that time that I didn't want to pick up the phone and deal with the next chapter of my life. Turns out that I had to. Turns out I got lied to by the aide who took over for the aide that was leaving, and um, and that aide only worked with me for a solid month. Now I have totally different aides that are much better, but I needed that time to reflect on my life. And so when you thought that you were going to see beautiful videos of the ocean, that chance, because one, I was in a setting that I was welcomed into, and I'm forever grateful to be welcomed into that setting. And if it happens again, it happens again. But two, I needed time away from my life so I can reflect on my life as to what was going on. So patience is a virtue, as I say, and then good things come to those who wait. So I'll leave it at that, you guys, and I will catch you guys later. Dan and I will catch you guys later, and we will have an interesting episode next week, you guys, all about a certain sport that Danielle and I are going to do today with a friend of ours um, called Bowling and CP. So you guys get to hear about that one. And so we will catch you guys later, and then we'll see what this speech, this soapbox did to you guys. And I want to wish you guys a beautiful week, and let's make it a productive week. And we will catch you guys later. Bye, you guys.
Bye.